Welcome to the Real Build podcast. I'm Tommy, and I'm here with two guys you're going to hear from a lot, Devin and Tyler. We're three friends navigating life, work, change, and everything in between.
This show is about being real life, real pivots, real rebuilds. We've all taken different paths, and this podcast is a place where we talk about the process, the struggles, and the moments where things shift.
This podcast is about breaking routines, testing ideas, and living stories worth telling. We're not experts. We're just three guys figuring things out, and we're inviting you to figure it out with us.
We're live. All right. Well, we have Bill Ayer with Slayer Calls here and Tanner Hardy. And Tanner's also with Slayer Calls, but he's actually just moved to East Idaho-ish. So we're going to hear from these guys tonight. And then we've got Tyler and Devin again, like always. So just hanging out on the front porch, enjoying some beautiful weather. Devin's over there dicking with his microphone.
Every time. Tanner wanted to talk about cocktails.
Cocktails.
Oh, I don't know too much about no cocktails.
Just
That was Bill. That was Bill that brought that up.
All right,
to be
Beetlejuice.
fair.
Carrots? I don't know nothing about carrots.
I don't know nothing about no carrots.
So how did they come up with the cocktail?
Yeah, I was doing a little bit of looking that up, and I came to the conclusion I think it's
Nobody knows.
all made up, and nobody knows. There's like 5 different theories on it.
what was your main word you said? Benangled them?
I don't remember. Let's see.
Berazzled?
No, I was. I think the one that you're looking for is fundament.
Fundamental them.
Fundament.
What is a fundament?
Look that up, Bill.
He Google imaged it, but
I couldn't tell.
Came back blurry.
Odin's going to take over.
Somebody let the wolf out.
Should we ask him your questions? I don't even know what questions are on there. Are these too deep? Is this a funny or is this a what you doing?
I was just gonna let Bill. You got your fundament?
No, I wasn't looking it up. I was looking at some of these other theories.
He was on Instagram.
What is a fundament?
Bill's not afraid to look it up.
A fundament can refer to the foundation or underlying basis of something. It can also refer to the ground or base on which a structure is built. In a more literal context, it can refer to the buttocks or anus. This answer is from definitions.net and reverse.
Right in the butthole.
Yes, the cocktail is they put something in the horse's ass to make the tail not
Ginger.
do something. Ginger.
It's called gingering a horse.
So we're actually
That's
drinking
what-
ginger in a liquidy substance, a
It-
cocktail.
It cocks the horse's tail off, makes it have a high tail.
It cocks it off, huh?
Why?
The more you probably run faster, look cooler.
Seth
dude.
knows this stuff. It's probably some show horse thing.
Yeah, like the Arabians. I don't know if you've ever seen, they have the high tail. And
Would assume it's not a show horse thing. They're talking about like some old historians here having theories on it.
interesting.
Right on.
Have you ever cocked a tail?
At least 3, but not over
A
here.
horse? Have you ever gingerly fundamented a horse?
Not gingerly.
I'm sure we can find a horse here pretty quick.
A dog's about as big as a horse.
Odin, you want your fundament cocktail ginger?
We should try it on the dog to see if his tail.
I'm out. Do I need to leave my dog
Yeah.
here? over the weekend?
Do you have any ginger in the house?
I can get you Instacart.
I gotta go to work early. I'm out of here.
Look at, he's running away.
He doesn't know. He has no idea what's about.
He actually backs in over here. It's like,
What's
Tommy,
about to
what are you
what?
doing with this dog?
I know what's coming on this one today, boys.
Human?
So, Bill,
Yes, sir.
what's your story?
My story?
Yeah, you've got an interesting background, and I know you a little bit from, well, I know you a fair amount, but obviously from traveling with you and shacking up in hotel rooms and doing shows and stuff.
You guys did some ginger, didn't you?
Fundamented it.
You should see his tail when it cocks.
When it gets gingered,
So what do you want to know about me, Tommy?
Well, where did you?
how are you
What's your-
conceived?
Yeah, what's your?
Let's start
background?
from the. Let's
We
just
tried
start.
this.
Well,
I don't have that interesting of a story.
Sure, you do.
I grew up in a small blue-collar town in California. Played a lot of sports. Went to college. Played football there.
Where'd you go to college?
Berkeley, California. Yeah, so I played ball there and had a lot of fun in those 5 years. A lot of different ways. Playing football, school, all the things that go along with college. And then I didn't know I wanted to play sports, for my career. That didn't work out, so I didn't know what I wanted to do. And half my friends went in the finance industry, the other half went in the software industry. But back then, the .com boom was happening. Dial-up was just a thing. Cell phones just came out. I'm 54 years old, so I'm not that old, but seems like things are moving fast. But anyhow, I went down the software route, the high tech route, did that for 22 years and worked up and down the peninsula for some pretty big companies and then some startups. So I got to experience the startup world where you wear a lot of hats and you are in a lot of different pieces of the business, which I thought was awesome. On the large corporations I worked for, I was just another number and very expendable. So did that for 22 years. Didn't really love what I did. It was good money, but didn't never love the people. I worked with some really good people and I kind of stuck with them through my whole career, but they weren't really my type of people. I was more into the outdoors, sports, hunting, fishing. They kind of came from different backgrounds. So I was like, okay, I had enough of that. So then I started Slayer Calls, which was my passion and just having a ton of fun with that. Taking what I've learned from that, trying to build this business. It's a different industry, different product. So it's been a challenge, but it's been a fun challenge.
What's your most challenging thing that you think that you run into on a consistent basis? Or yeah,
For to build a business, like people don't understand, like a good idea is only a good idea. Like we all have good ideas. You can come up with them all day, every day. I think where the rubber meets the road is how you market it and how you sell it. How do you tell the world about what you have in a way that they're gonna digest it and consume it? And so you could have a bad idea, but if you market it right, you could sell it. People will digest it and consume it. And so people come to me all the time like, "Oh, I'm thinking about selling this. I wanna do that." Well, the first thing I ask is like, "How are you gonna market it? How are you gonna sell it? What's it gonna cost you to do that?" It takes a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of people to make that go. If you just wanna, make $10,000 a year, $20,000 a year, yeah, you could do that, right? But if you wanna take it to the next level, it takes a lot of effort and a lot of marketing, sales effort to make it happen. And so and it takes a lot of capital, a lot of cash to make it happen. Having a plan, before you get into it, I think it is key, and that's the constant struggle. Because as you grow and you're trying to double your business year over year, it's easy to take 0 and turn it into $100,000. It's easy to take $100,000 and make it 200,000. But then when you start getting the multiples of millions, it's very difficult because in order to buy raw goods, to market bigger, to do all that, the multiples get so big. So eventually your growth stalls out because you don't have the capital to keep growing. And that's why you see in most companies, they take A round, B round, C round, D round funding to be able to continue that growth. And so that's the biggest struggle.
How long you been doing this?
I've been doing Slayer seriously for about 5 years.
Okay.
so anybody that doesn't know, that is the 5 listeners that we have that doesn't know about Slayer, because everybody knows about it, but no, just kidding. We only have like 5 listeners, but is that Slayer's a game call company. So waterfowl, duck, goose. They've got turkey lineups, elk, and then if there's other stuff, Bill can talk about that. But so that's kind of what Slayer started in the waterfowl industry, and only because I know Bill and I know his background on this company is why I'm speaking to this. But with duck and goose calls, and then come on up through over what last 4 years,
Or yeah, 4 to 5 years.
as where it's kind of branched out into more than just the waterfowl game. Tanner, sorry, Bill, hold on.
No,
Tanner, we got Tanner on, so give us a little bit conception to know. How were you conceived?
I think vaginally.
Well, that's pretty good.
No,
Like a
I
male and a
mean,
female? Like
Yeah.
traditional, old school, not
To
new
my,
school stuff?
no,
Missionary.
to the best of my knowledge, anyways. And I'm pretty sure during hunting season.
Well,
Birthday.
that's not a bad
Yeah,
way to
that-
conceive.
yeah.
You just can't have a kid during
No,
hunting
during
season.
hunting season. Yeah, of course. I screwed that up, but it's okay. uh, from then to now, man, I haven't done anything too crazy that people would think was that cool, anyways. I mean, I just grew up in a small little farming town of 800 people and had a pretty cool childhood. I got a boat when I was 12 years old, could run around on the river by myself. That's pretty much all I did. I was a river rat for the first 4 or 5 years of being a teenager. And then, life hits. You got to go to work. Married, have a couple kids now. Moved down here to Idaho Falls. Come take over, hopefully, Tommy's business.
Not hopefully. It's happening.
Oh, that's happening. But hopefully, it all goes the way I've drawn it up in my head.
It won't.
I'm sure not.
Yeah. That's lesson number one. Whatever you think's gonna happen, it doesn't. It goes
Yeah.
the opposite way.
But it'll work out. It's just not going to be exactly how you think it will work out.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't have much of a crazy story. I've done some wild stuff in my day for the age that I am, but nothing huge in my life has impacted or changed the way I live in any way.
Have you ever done the cooler races in Riggins?
Yeah, I have.
I don't know why that just popped into my head, but I
Yeah.
was like, Tanner's done it. I know he
Yeah.
has.
What's the cooler races?
Oh, you get hammered drunk.
There's one super steep hill that all the drunk idiots sit on to watch the rodeo. I have been that guy at least twice. Anyways, at the end of the rodeo, or in the middle of the rodeo, or really at any time, depending on how much you've had to drink, you ride your cooler down this super steep. And I'm talking steep. Like it's hard to walk up this thing. You
Like
got to use
60
your
degree
hands.
type
Yeah.
pitch thing.
Damn.
And one day you think it's, or one time you think it's a good idea to sit on your cooler and see how far you can make it. I don't think I've ever seen anybody go more than 20 feet on the cooler. You'll always go all the way to the bottom, but no more than 20 feet on the cooler.
I don't know what made me think of that, but I was like, Tanner's there. He's done it.
Have done the cooler races. There's no winner in that either.
The crowd.
Yeah, I
do love
suppose.
watching it.
I do.
YouTube. You can YouTube it. You can watch that.
How old are you? 25, you said?
Yep.
I mean, it takes some balls to come down out of nowhere, and I don't know where nowhere is. Where are you living right now?
I live in Star, Idaho. Well, I did. Now I'm weekending in Star, Idaho, and
Okay.
living down here.
But man, dude, it's cool to be able to step into something like this. I mean, I think it takes some balls.
Yeah,
That's-
definitely. It's a big change. I've never left the valley there. I mean, I've never lived anywhere else. All our family's there. My wife's family's there. So it's a pretty big step for us for sure, but we're excited. There's a lot to explore out here. I'm a big outdoorsman as well, and the fishing is good. The hunting is supposedly good. I haven't spent any time in the hills here, but it's all stuff I'm looking forward to. It's going to be a big change for us for sure.
You excited?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm pretty stoked about it. I think it's going to be good. A lot less people live here. I like that. I don't like the crowdedness of Boise anymore. This Idaho Falls reminds me of like that area when I was growing up as a little kid.
That's
So
cool.
I like that.
That's cool. No, I think it's cool what you're doing. And I mean, being that young, right? And then stepping into something like this.
Right.
I'm sure, like, even as two business owners here, like, yeah, you're going to learn a lot of stuff and it's not going to go exactly how you think. But at the same time, you keep your mind right, your head right. It'll be good, dude. You'll learn a lot.
I think so. That's the work part of it's not a worry to me at all. You know, I've been doing it for 9 years now, so I've got all that on, but all the business side of it and
The marketing.
the marketing, not just that. I mean, I think Tommy's done a pretty good job for himself. His name is pretty reputable, so that's not as much of a worry as just like making sure you got all your T's crossed and I's dotted, you know?
Yeah.
And I've said this over and over again. Tanner has worked a lot of shows with me. I've probably managed over, I don't know, a couple hundred software sales reps, people with college degrees, who with master's degrees, that have gone through sales training, Toastmasters, and all that kind of stuff. And I would put Tanner up against any of my best sales reps, and he'd whoop their ass. Like he'd outsell them. He's probably one of the best sales guys I know. So like going and finding business won't be a problem.
That's cool. You think that comes down to like personality?
Well, he's only like 18 years old, but he looks like he talks as if he's like 35 years old, right?
It's got a full on beard over here.
Yeah.
That's because from the ages of about 16 to 20, I lived at least 15 years of life.
Yeah. I think it comes from confidence. That's my personal, that's just my 2 cents, but I think it comes from confidence. He talks in a way that it's believable. He has a charismatic approach to it, and people like buy into it.
That's cool.
That's my belief, at least.
That's cool, man. I'm excited for you. I think it's cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked. I'm excited too. Already running into a couple of the first hiccups, but we're
Day 3.
no, they're not hiccups. They're just me being petty.
Employees.
I mean, that's got to be the hardest part of anything.
For sure.
Do you-
Especially like the last place I came from, we were pretty tight knit group of guys, and we've all been doing it for quite a while. That it was you didn't have to say much, everybody knew what they were doing. It was quick and easy. We could do a lot, and then it's all changed here. It's a bunch of young. I say young kids. I'm a young kid still, but it's everybody's got their best idea on how to do it, and none of them really know how to do it at all. Tommy sits back and laughs at me getting frustrated. Well, go tell him.
What'd you tell him?
I've been nice the first 3 days. I'm trying not to make anybody too mad the first couple days, but we'll see. Maybe we'll do another one of these podcasts in the next couple weeks, and we'll see what I've been telling them.
It's probably hard because you don't want to come in. You got to come in and see it, fill it out.
Right.
Don't need to cause any waves.
Know
on
where
day
everybody
3.
stands. I don't need everybody on the crew mad at me already, so I'm sure that day is coming, but
Well, it's also one of those things. I mean, you don't know anybody,
no.
and like as you get to know them and develop a relationship with these people,
Mhm.
you'll either get their respect or you won't. And maybe I don't know. Maybe these guys could attest to that. As I've never had any employees underneath me, but I'm sure that's got to be a lot of it. Your relationships.
Yeah, I think I always go back to my experiences with managers or people that I've respected, and those are the people I respect or would like shoot through walls for are the people that led from the front. They're not afraid to do it themselves. They know how to do it themselves. They're put their team in front of themselves. And then once you got that, will like when I had managers like that or people, coaches or whoever, it's like you'll die for them.
Yeah.
And so I think that's important. But then sometimes, like Tommy and I were just talking about that, sometimes people are wired a different way. And no matter what you do, you can lead from the front, the back, the middle, say, coach, however you want. They're just not going to get it. And those people you got to cut and cut fast.
It's got to be something fun to learn.
I don't know if you actually ever, well, maybe there are people out there that have learned it and that are very good at hiring, firing, or interviewing. Like that's what I told Tanner today. I was like, I've never actually found a good way to interview people to where I'm like, you're going to work out or you're not going to work out or whatever. It's been,
Trial by fire.
yeah, I've interviewed people where I'm like, dude, you're going to be freaking awesome. And then they suck or vice versa. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe there's a way, but I just don't know if in the construction world, if there really is or what, or if it's the pool of people that we're pulling from or
Well, it's hard because I think in construction world, right, you're dealing with a lot of like the same type of dudes. Probably very opinionative. Probably didn't want to do any sort of schooling because they don't want to be told what to do. Like, and as a dude in the same boat where it's like, yeah, like again, you probably have your same like I know how to do this.
Yep.
Whether you're right or wrong, everybody thinks they're right.
Just like you were talking earlier when we were in the kitchen, and you're like, yeah, I might have a problem with authority. Probably most of the guys that are out there on the crew have a problem with authority.
Yeah.
Me included. But I'm also good with like, if you've got a better idea than me and it works, great. Let's
Yeah.
do it.
I think that comes down to I think that's a good approach as well. And I have to catch myself in it too, or even with my kids, where I'm like, okay, I'll just let them try it. This even if I know it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's let them figure it out. And then, oh, let's try my way now.
Right.
It's probably the same. Probably raising children. I mean, I guess I lied. I have had employees. Did I tell you I ran a clothing store for like 2 years in Texas?
no.
Yeah. This was crazy.
Is it like girls' bikini?
Pretty much. Yeah. No, dude, my wife, her first job ever was a clothing fashion exchange thing. And we wanted to start our own, found some investor. He purchased a store, a failing store in Texas. We moved to Texas and we just brought it back to profitable and then bounced. It was fun, but it was like one of those things you figured it out and you're like, there's no real avenue here for me to be successful more than just managing a store. Like one store, it's not going to do anything. But yeah, I managed a bunch of high school and college girls. That was wild. Caught some stealing from me, drinking on the job. Yeah, dude, I'm like, damn.
That sounds almost like construction.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We had the same thing in software. I mean, we had guys in the bathroom pounding a bottle of Bacardi and doing coke in the wherever.
Just a higher level. You
Yeah.
got software guys, Bacardi and Coke. You got concrete guys, the bottom shelf.
Bush
And
Light.
some
Man.
Canadian mist.
I think that
Ooh.
interviewing thing is an interesting realm because I think you can interview for quality. I really do.
I think you can too. I just
Yeah.
haven't figured.
I look for stars. And it's kind of a weird deal, but you ask somebody, say, tell me about a result that you had that was positive? I don't care if it was basket weaving, football, basketball, art class, whatever. Just tell me about some results that you had that were positive. And then they're like, oh, maybe I won track. Okay, well, what was the situation? Well, I was a track athlete, around 110 hurdles, whatever. What was the task? And then, like, what actions did you take to get that result? And so interviewing could be a big bullshit session. So if you just talk to somebody, what I found was It's a personality thing. If you just ask kind of random interviewee type questions, anybody can lie, anybody can say whatever they want, right? But then it's like, well, I like this person, so I'm going to hire them just based on their personality. But if you ask for actual results, right? Tell me about a result that didn't turn out good for you. That's always a hard one, right? And so they're like, "Well, I got an F in this class." Well, why did you get an F? So if they take accountability for getting that F, well, how'd you fix it? Well, I didn't. I just didn't take class again. Well, that's bad check mark, right? Or they don't take accountability, right? So you look for results, bad and pun bad, and then look at the task, the result, and how the actions they took to get that result. And do they take ownership of the bad result? And then what did they do? What actions did they take to get the good result? And then you can start to get into their character and how they're wired.
I'm not gonna lie, if I had that as an interview question, I'd probably be stumped for a little while trying to think of like a good enough answer. You know what I mean?
What would
But
your
I
answer
guess
be?
that I've been sitting here the whole time trying to think like, man, what's a good result? I mean, I've had a lot of good results. I don't know, I guess it'd be a hard thing for me to like pick one out that I'm thinking, yeah, this is a good result. I'm gonna tell this guy and he's gonna hopefully give me a job. You know what I mean?
And that's a problem too, right? If you can't come up with a good result, then I'm like,
I mean, I'm a good salesman and a really good bullshitter, so I'd come up with something that you like. But like, I'm trying to think honestly here. I'm not under pressure right now, so it's I don't know what would you have if your I guess your clothing store that you brought back to profitable would be a good result.
Yeah, I think that was a good one. I've got some bad ones.
so what'd you do? What'd you do in order to make that profitable?
We came in, essentially restructured the store, did like a new grand opening, started off with like a marketing thing where we did like this $5 grab bag where he came in. We had so much shit clothing in there. And us, just did like whatever you can put in this little bag for $5. And our sales just,
There, I'd write down my little notes, creative thinker,
hell yeah.
right?
No, and that's kind of how we kicked it off. And then, we had to get more employees, better training, came down to systems, of like making sure that everyone was properly trained. Like
Then I'd write down operational minded.
That's a whole different beast.
yeah, especially with college girls and high school girls.
Yeah. I'd also put analytical. Like you're able to step back, look at what's going on and be analytical about it.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. And then essentially, once it kind of plateaued to a point that I realized, like, hey, this is probably the end of the road. Like, there's not a ton of money to be made in this area. I was like, yeah, I didn't
Right.
just leave either, though. I found him a new manager, hired a new one, trained her, and then left.
I'd put rational and I'd also put flight risk. And then
So I'm a flight risk.
yeah,
For
so
sure.
so I would if I hired you, I'd make sure that you're being stimulated, not like through a
Gingering? Not through
Fundamenting. No
gingering.
fundamenting.
but I'd make sure that you're being challenged every day and that there's a big pot at the end of the rainbow all the time.
Yeah.
So I'd keep my eye on that and keep asking you those questions as you were employed with me.
You're probably spot on, man. And for a bad one, I'd almost consider like my last scenario bad. I came in, I got hired to start a solar division inside of an electrical company. And we had a lot of plans, and we've even talked about where it's like, hey, these plans aren't going to go as you think. And so it developed into something I didn't know anything about solar either, mind you. So as I learned more and realized that like what I was building was way more than a one person job, it was one of those things where it's like, I realize I can't do this by myself anymore. And I lost. I was a flight risk, right? Where it's like, if I have to do all the lead generation, all the sales, all the learning, all the, like engineering, all of the managing of marketing, like it was way too much. And I think that kind of fell on deaf ears a little bit. And I didn't know their budgets. And so like nothing was transparent. I didn't know what money I had to work with, what I didn't. And so ultimately we ended up building out a small little solar team. So it wasn't like I just bounced. And then I got put into marketing and I realized like again, I felt like what I was being told wasn't necessarily, they didn't know, right? They couldn't promise me anything because they didn't know either. And I was like, you know what? I'll just have to go figure this out on my own. So I left them with another marketing team and I was like, see ya. So I've never tried to just abandon anybody, just like, screw you,
Did that second to last job. I did a screw you. Right, I've been doing it well, I guess then I'd been pouring concrete for 7 years. Pretty experienced. I mean, I could go do anything you told me to do and, get hired on $28 an hour, which was a decent pay bump for me because for the 4 years prior, I'd been working for my brother-in-law, or 3 years. We were just doing residential patios, some foundations, stuff like that, and he couldn't afford to pay me a lot, but back then I didn't have kids or anything and didn't really need to get paid a lot, and I didn't mind helping him out, so I got a decent pay bump, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool." Worked for a while, and this is such a big company that I was working for. I think it's the biggest concrete company in Idaho, and, worked for a little while. We needed some more guys for the summertime, and it's hard to hire guys right now. I mean, nobody wants to work unless you're making way more money than you're worth. So this guy rolls up. Boss is like, "Hey, you need to kind of train him how to go set some boards over here and, put some of that epoxy bar in or whatever." I was like, okay. So we're doing it. And he starts talking to me. He's like, "Dude, it's crazy. I've never done concrete in my life. They're paying me $27 an hour to come out here. Like, what have you done?" He's like, worked at Sonic. Like, you're making the same amount of money as me and have zero experience." So I went to the foreman or my boss. I was like, "Hey, I need a pay raise, dude." He's like, "What do you mean?" I mean, that guy right there is making the same amount of money I'm making, and I have all my tools, all the knowledge I need. I could set this whole job up, but he gets paid the same as me. He's like, "Well, it's how it is. When we need to hire guys, we'll hire them in a day, so we'll pay them enough to come work." And I was like, "Well, that don't work for me." He's like, "Well, nothing I can do about it. I'm the site foreman. You have to talk to them." I'm like, "You call them and talk to them right now, or I'm leaving." And he's like, "No." Okay. I walked off the job right then and there, left, and
See ya.
made another call to a guy I know that had a concrete business, and he was like, "Heck yeah, man, come over. I'll pay you the same thing." So I went over there, and that's where I'd been for the last 2 seasons until me and Tommy started talking about this, and I made the move down here.
That's cool, man.
To pay.
Quarter, but I get all the water I can drink.
There's free snacks.
Hey, we got a steak tonight.
That's the one and only.
It was a filet too, so
So are you a flight risk as well? Is he a flight risk?
No.
Shit.
I've been with Bill since the first duck call he's turned, I think.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Tanner has probably been the most loyal guy, one of the most loyal guys I know. But he also comes with little triggers like that, right? That
Yeah.
I don't want to psychoanalyze you, but it's like it's on Tanner's terms, right? And I think you'll be a good boss. I think being a boss or owner for Tanner is a good deal because he can run it the way you want to run it. You could, you know what I mean, versus somebody.
Yeah. No,
telling you
I
how to do it.
definitely agree with you. I mean, I have triggers. One of them is if you're not paying me what I think I'm worth compared to somebody else, that's a bit of a trigger for me,
I
especially in
mean,
something so drastic
it's
like
come
that.
down to like, I mean, there's studies out there that say that the people that are loyal get underpaid.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
if you're not doing something for every 2 to 3 years, Bill, dude, come on. But I mean, the people that jump and the people that are looking for new things will always make more money.
Yeah.
Is what I mean. I've looked into this too.
I mean, you're not wrong, and that's why it's so hard to keep guys like in the blue collar working field because the grass is always greener somewhere they think, and somebody's always willing to pay $2 an hour more, which is not that much, really, to somebody that's making $18 an hour. $20 an hour sounds pretty good. A lot of these guys are like, "Oh, I could put new wheels on my truck for that." I mean, seriously though, like,
Nailed it.
and so $2 an hour more, they might jump ship and go over there, and then it's like, "Oh, this kind of sucks. I don't like the work here."
So what do you
know?
think? So what do you think differentiates blue collar to blue collar business? Right? Someone comparing your business or what you want to do to the next guy.
Well, I mean, I don't know per se. That'd be a better question for Tommy, really. But I know a lot of the people that we work with is it's all money driven. They don't look into it very far about the business or what really they're going to be doing. It's like, "Oh, it's concrete and I can make $3 more. All right, I'm going." And then, it could be like me at CPC. I had 17-hour days there from 3:30 in the morning to 9 o'clock at night, and they expect you back at 6 a.m. It's like, well, I didn't realize we'd be doing this all the time. I have no time to see my family. I come home, my wife would have dinner made, I'd eat it, go to bed, wake up. So that was another driving factor of why I quit. So I was already like kind of on edge about it. And then that stuff happened. And I was like, yeah, it's not worth it. I'm not wasting 2 weeks of my time for you guys.
Um, those are all interviewing questions I'm hearing, right? So tell me about your last. One of my questions was always tell me about your last 5 jobs. One of the questions when they got done telling me about the one job, I was like, why'd you leave? Right? Why'd you leave? Why'd you leave? And see if I see any type of track record there. Obviously, people can bullshit you on that one, but sometimes they'll kind of slip up and you'll start seeing track records. Like, oh, I got a $2 raise, so I went over here, and then I got another $2 raise, and then I'm like, okay. So then you start to know like how people are wired that way.
Yeah,
But
construction blue collar is a very odd thing to me. Like, and I think it's different trades in the blue collar trades are all different. Like electricians or the prima donnas, plumbers, kind of thing. Like, I mean, it kind of is. And you look at them and they make more money, but they also care about different things. Like, I don't know, 401k. We offer 401k. We offer paid vacation. We offer like certain benefits to our employees if they're here for longevity. I can count on one hand the amount of people that actually cared that they had 401k match. And it's like, but they would rather have a 50-cent raise or a dollar raise than a 401k match where they get 3% matched plus whatever they put in and it's they just don't look at the long term where I think other trades look at the long term and they're like, "Oh yeah. Okay, if I do this and I do this, then in 10 years or whatever, like maybe I don't have to make that extra 50 cents an hour because now I'm ahead of this or whatever it is."
so weird what people are triggered by.
Mhm.
Like we used to do at one of my companies I worked with we did a potluck every Friday. And like so many people stayed extra years because of that darn potluck. It was like, really? Like you could pay them less, you could work them longer, but they were so like, oh, the potluck, man, it's all you can eat. It's great food, you know? You're like, really? Like that's what you're into, you know? Or like at T Sheets, you had a ping pong table and beer. Like you can go down there and grab beer anytime you wanted. There's like food all over the place. And people just worked for hardly anything, worked their tails off just so they can play ping pong every day, you know?
Dang.
It was like, it's just weird things, but yet no 401k. You only get 7 paid vacation days a year. Everybody got 1 week. Didn't matter management or anybody. It's like, dude, I'd rather have 3 weeks off than this ping pong and candy.
It is wild.
So that's something that I've thought about, and this will be interesting for Tanner as it comes, and then Tyler as it comes through. But where I've looked at like since thinking about selling my business, and I'm like, what's next? And we've talked about this on pretty much every episode from conception of this podcast is like, what's next? What's going to go on down the line? And I always think about like, well, what's next? But I look at going to work for somebody again, and man, that is tough. Like, I don't know, to go punch a clock. And then, like Bill said, 7 days for a year of vacation. And then I think about September coming, and I'm like, man, you try to keep me 7 days of vacation in September, and then my family wants to go on vacation
Yep.
at Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, this doesn't really pan out for vacation stuff.
It was me for 22 years. I had 3 weeks vacation normally. 2 weeks went to elk hunting, 1 week went to family. And then, I
Damn.
mean, and then you get, your paid holidays, but that's another, what, 6, 7 days.
Yeah.
I have quit a job for hunting before or got fired. One of the two.
You just went hunting.
You went hunting.
It was a bit of a gray area. It was no gray for me. I told the guy, I was like, hey, I do a big deer hunt every year with my dad. This is like our thing, So I'll be doing that towards the end of October. It was like, okay. And then, you always get busy in the fall because winter's coming. You got jobs, you got to get closed up and hurry. And he's like, well, you can't go hunting. We got work to do. I'm like, well, I told you when I started. It's like at every job I've ever started, be like, hey, I have a big deer hunt. 10 days, I'll be gone. And he didn't want that to happen. And I was like, well, I was looking for a job when I found this one. So I guess I'll quit. And he's like, yep, you're quitting then.
So you went on your hunt.
Yeah, all right. I've never missed it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you were in the tech industry for 22 years, and then you bounced and started Slayer, or you started Slayer.
Well, I did 22 years in tech, and then I did another weird tech job in Portland for a year. And then I went to go help a company sell office furniture for a year.
Okay.
And both those last 2 jobs, I realized that I was like, what am I doing? They were the most ridiculous jobs ever. I mean, yeah, I know you wanna go into it, but it was just ridiculous. And then I understood I was unhireable. I put on the corporate hat for so long and just bit my tongue and just did the
Yeah.
just went through the grind and just put a smile on my face, didn't cause any waves, and just was the little hard worker bee and crushed my numbers and all that stuff, and I couldn't bite my tongue anymore. I was like, if I saw something wrong, I was gonna call it out, and management doesn't like that, right? When you
Yeah.
say like, "No, this is dumb, like, I'm not doing it."
That's pretty cool though. I mean, to at least know, because I feel like I'm in a similar boat where I'm like, I do feel like I am unhireable at this point. I feel like I could come in and be hired to do something like, but as far as like just stay under someone's thumb,
Being
no.
micromanaged and
Yeah.
forecast calls 3 times a week and being just pinched every single day,
Yeah.
and but then not doing things that you don't agree with,
Yeah.
right? And I couldn't go back to that.
And that's like, even through that solar division thing that I did, like the reason I consider that, I mean, it was a win in a lot of ways for me. I learned a lot, but I mean, there's a lot of things I just didn't know. But the reason I consider it as a fail because I got 0 sales, you know, and like that's weird for me. I feel like I am also good at sales, but when it came down to what I thought would happen, it just didn't, which that is on me. Even going back to the ownership thing, like I didn't go knock doors, but I mean, I didn't sign up to knock doors, but if I did, I probably would have got some sales, you know? But it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, coming down to being hired to do things and all these things, like I'm just in a very similar place that probably you were 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And I want to, it's crazy because I still want to do things with people. I still want to build stuff with people. I don't want to just be me. And I realize it takes a good team of people to do stuff like that. And even what I'm trying to build right now is it's hard solo. And I mean, I mean, I think about that too. Like, man, if I just had a little bit of money that I could hire some spots out, oh man, I feel like I would just like jump me a
Yeah.
year.
Going back to Tommy's original question, like what are some of your biggest struggles? I think as a business owner, everything falls on your shoulders. Money doesn't come in unless you're making it come in, right? And then you're also in charge of these people. You're also in charge of the finances. You're also in charge of the marketing. At the end of the day, the buck stops with you, right? So if marketing's not working, you got to make the call. If sales ain't working, you got to make the call. If product's not working, you got to make the call. If finances are getting screwy and taxes are getting out of hand, you're the one, right?
Yeah.
And when you're a small business owner, all that falls on your shoulders. And so it's like trying to manage all that and just keep going, right? Is tough. And so what I've learned is you got to hire the right team, have a good CPA, have a good bookkeeper, so you don't have to worry about that. Yeah, you pay for it, but it's worth its price in gold, right? And then we got other people that are in charge of other things that I don't necessarily I have to worry about it, but most of it's under control, you know?
That's cool.
Yeah. But that's a hard thing to because everybody's like, "Oh, start your own business. You don't have a boss." Well, you do have a boss. It's
Every person that hired you.
yeah, it's like
Well,
every person under you, and then all those little things, right? Like the finances and drumming up business and all that stuff.
Working twice as much for half as much pay.
At
Um,
what point were you able to hire employees when you started Slayer?
I've been super blessed that way. At first, people did it just, you know, for free. And then as we started making money, like with Lisa and Jen, I was able to start paying them.
That's cool.
But I still don't pay people and they help. Tommy helped for I don't know how long for just pro bono, just being kindness out of his heart. Same with Tanner. It's like they've helped me out. And I don't know why, but they've been part of the thing. I think, one day I see a world where we're making enough money where I could pay people, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully they come back and do some stuff and I can pay them appropriately, right? But it's been a lot of hard work that way. So, yeah, it's tough, and, like, you'll never get away with it in the concrete business. Nobody's gonna come work for 3 weeks and be like, "Oh, yeah, when you just, make some money, like, we'll see." Yeah.
That's one of the special things about the outdoor industry, though, right? You have a product that, like me, when how old was I when the first time?
And I know I brought a
16?
suitcase of beer over and you were 16 or 17.
7.
I thought he was, like, 22, 23.
I
You
was
probably had that beard.
I did, and I was living on my own and doing my own thing anyways, so, it wasn't like he was coming over to my parents' house when I was 17, he was coming over to my house. There's already beer in the fridge, so it was like He'd bring beers over and some calls and be like, "Hey, try these out, man. See what you think about them." But for me, like at that age, right? Couple free duck calls, go to a show about stuff I love, the outdoors. It was no thing. I didn't have a problem helping him out. I mean, I'll
There's
give
some,
you
like, up there like,
that's
one's your passion.
yeah. One, it's a passion. Another, I like Bill. Get some free product out of it, right? Pro staffing, they call it, which is pretty cool with the outdoor industry because it's like you can get people to do good stuff for you, like influencers and people getting good content for you. Like, hey, I'll send you a couple calls. It's not like, I mean, obviously it costs you money. You're building the calls, but it's pretty cheap payment in sense. And I mean, Bill, I'm sure gets plenty of people now that are like, "Hey, man, send me some calls. I'll do stuff." And he gets like a picture of a duck call,
Yeah.
right? It's like, yeah, I don't need help doing
You're
that.
like, "Show me some of your work."
I think it's an industry it's hard to get into. There's very few positions and a lot of people that want to get into it because everybody has that passion. So you have a lot of influencers out there hoping to get promoted on social and then hopefully get brought on to some company. So they're repping a lot of different products, hoping that one of those are going to pop.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's the thing about it is you can get away with it in that industry. But in almost any other industry, there's no way you're getting people to just come give you a helping hand for a duck call. Be
Yeah.
like, "Hey, come help me finish this slab today. I'll give you this
A
duck
high
call."
five.
I got an extra mag that I'll give you if you come finish all this concrete with me, $300, $400 a day worth of work for a good day finisher, and you're not gonna get that.
Yeah, maybe you need to start paying people in guns. "Hey, for a week's worth of work, I'll give you this pistol."
The Ruger Wrangler,
Yeah.
$99.
They don't gotta know. I'm like, "Dang, honey, I could get a pistol."
So one thing, Bill, with one thing we talked about on a couple podcasts with Devin is like making that jump. So you have 20 plus years in a totally different industry. What what was that? What was that like for you? What was the turning point that you were like, I'm gonna follow my passion and go do what you do
Yeah, I
now?
mean, the 2 last jobs I've had was, like, writing on the wall. I did a lot of praying, and it was funny because I was in a, offsite meeting, and I'd been praying a lot about, like, what my next thing to do was, and, we were talking about, like, issues, like, company issues, and the COO of this company put my name on the board as an issue. And I literally was sitting there, like, not even paying attention, and I was, like, praying, and when I saw my name go on the board, I started laughing, like, smiling, like, "God, you're so great," like, dude, like, because 'cause I'm a pretty, like, hard-headed dude, like, I'll just keep going and just won't give up type of thing, and God knew that I needed my name to be put on that board, and when I saw that, I was also talking with, one of the investors in Slayer, and he was like, "Dude, you gotta do this," and trying to get me to take Slayer to the next level. And I was like on the fence. I was like, I don't know, and I was talking to my wife about it. And I said, when my name went up there, I was like, that's the decision. That's the sign, right? And so I kind of smiled. People were looking at me like, what's wrong with him?
He's
So
lost it.
I got in the car, I called Matt up. I said, okay, it's a go. Let's do this. And he's like, really? I'm like, yep. And I kind of told him the story. And he started laughing. He's like, all right, let's do this. And called my wife. It was like the best thing ever. Right. So it was a weird moment, but also I'm totally blessed. I have a wife that does well for herself. Software business was good to me. So I have some cushion. Cushion's running out. My wife's, like, hey, you gotta start making some money now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, I was able, it's not everybody is fortunate enough to take that leap. It's big, right? Because it takes money, it takes time, and sometimes you don't, shit, I didn't take an income. It's been 5 years now. I just started taking the income and it's not a lot. I'm guarantee you these guys pouring concrete are making more than I am. What is like maybe 8, 10 months ago. Um, so yeah, it's been a grind, but I was fortunate enough to be able to financially do it, and I got some backing from some board members that helped me with some capital there. So owning your own company, when you have board members, you have bosses. So you got to be accountable for everything you do. You got to tell them why you're doing it, and all that stuff. So when you take funding, you're also taking on bosses.
That's crazy. That's a good story. You never
We always talk about like what it takes to actually make that leap. So it's cool that you actually had something that physically came up that was like, this is it.
Yeah, that is cool. How long were you on that fence?
Probably 2 years.
Just like, how was your energy? How did you feel during those 2 years?
I was just zapped. Like I don't want to speak for other people, but I see other people in that situation where you just don't know what that next move in your life's going to be. And you just, I know a couple of people that are there right now that are friends of mine, and it's like nobody knows what that next step is. Like I was on that fence for 25 years, actually. Like once football was over, I was on that fence for 25 years. I was doing something that I wasn't really passionate about. If you guys knew what I did, I got up at 4 in the morning, commuted an hour and a half one way to work, worked from, 6 in the morning till 4 or 5 o'clock, took an hour and a half to get home, go work out, run the dog, eat dinner, go to bed, and did that for 22 years.
Shit.
In a high pressure job, like you miss your number 1 quarter, you're on you're on the firing block.
Jeez.
You miss the second quarter, you're fired. Then you're living in a place that costs a lot to live, and you got mortgages, you got stuff, you got car payments, right? So it was like super high stress situation, and I didn't love doing it, but I just grinded through it. Uh, so I was on the fence that entire time, but I did not know what to do. Like I played football, right? Like
Yeah.
I love the outdoors, but I looked into outdoor stuff. I looked into getting the CIA, the FBI, going in the military. I was trying to like any avenue to get out of that world.
Yeah.
And then the pay's not good, right? The FBI, I don't want to go make $60,000 to go work for a CIA or something, right?
Flight risk would not be written down by Bill, huh? Grinded that out for 22 years.
I think just stupid would be the word for that.
You
know?
can't question your loyalty.
I don't know if I'd have made it 2 months doing.
Oh, dude, and if you can just the managers, I was fortunate because Shelly, there's 3 managers that I kinda attached to through that whole career, and wherever they went, I went, and they were awesome, but there was other people I worked for, man, you lost it. But, yeah, so I was on the fence for 25 years, basically.
Then you found your out.
Yep.
That's cool, man. Like just having that definitive, like, this is it. Yeah.
And then Matt, I was duck hunting with him for, gosh, 7, 8 years, and then he sold tee sheets, and then the whole time he's like, "Dude, like, let's do this thing with Slayer." And so for 2 years, he was trying to get me to do it, and it took me 2 years to see my name on the board to actually do it. Never really told anybody that other than my wife and Matt.
Now we know. So Matt started T sheets and sold it. Damn.
Crazy.
That was nice.
That was a good pop.
That's pretty cool, man. So now what's your plan that's not gonna go the way you planned it? Gonna go.
Well, my plan was that, we'd have about 15 employees. We'd be, riding high on the hog and doing all these awesome hunts. And it's been a struggle. Like we're 5 years into it. I think it's more going to be like a 10-year plan. I was
Okay.
hoping that 5 years that corner would be turned. I think it's going to be more like 10 years.
Okay. Is it
Like we're turning that corner. It's just a slow corner. And I think what I've underestimated was the manufacturing part of it. Like going back to that cash flow thing is, in software, you build the software, you have to pay for the developers, the engineers to build it. But once it's built, you're just selling
the same thing over and over and over?
over and over and over and over again, and you just tweak it a little bit. You enhance the software as the years go on. But once it's built, you're selling it, right? You don't have to go buy a bunch of widgets every year. So, like, if I buy, let's just say $100,000 in raw material this year, if I want to double it, I got to buy $200,000 next year.
Yeah.
So there's got to be enough margin in it, pay people plus margin in your sales to pay for double the inventory.
Yeah.
And so then I was always like, why can't you keep doubling it like we did in software? Well, I didn't take into account the cash flow issue.
And then also, like,
So-
what about the time to get that? Like your product, how long does it take from like, hey, I ordered this to now I have it?
Yep. And that's a thing too, right? Because you're sitting on inventory that's not selling. It's very seasonal, right? Our selling season is from July to January. So we have 6 months where we're not selling anything. So revenue's not coming in, but that's when we have to be building and buying.
That's when you're spending all your money.
Yeah, exactly, right? So now it's like, okay, if we grow at 20%, 30%, we're doing good,
Dang.
right? So that 5 years now turns into 10 years because we're not doubling.
Yeah. Selling a product, I kind of saw the writing on the wall. I started a supplement line. And just like from day one, like once I started it and I saw how long it took me to get that. And then all the work, like one, people are ingesting this. Two, I don't even know for sure what's in it, right? I'm not formulating this shit and I'm not doing any third party testing like these reputable brands are. I'm just me, And I kind of quickly realized, like, man, when it comes down to a product like that, and then also stepping into like, I did some workout clothes thing and all this stuff coming from China, never knew if it was going to be right, never knew if like the actual material was going to be good. Like, man, do you get your stuff like, where's all your stuff made?
And I'm so thankful right now for that.
Yeah, dude.
Like I'm talking with other vendors who most of their stuff's in China. That 90% of what we buy in the outdoor industries and from China. And those companies are in big trouble right now.
Yeah, shit.
I won't mention names, but it's pretty crazy.
So hopefully that helps
They're
you.
like, we have no marketing dollars so let's just say they set aside $300,000 for marketing dollars to go get content and do whatever they need to do to market it. Well, that $300,000 has now gone to the tariffs and the price hikes of the products coming from there. And so they're coming out to us now like, hey, can we do some collaborations on content?
You're like, sure.
Which is great because that's what we've been trying to do, but it's kind of like it's nice that the game's switched a little bit.
Roles reversed there. Yeah.
Yeah, but our price is we're making 30% less money, but because it's made here in the US, but it's now benefiting us. So
That is nice. Yeah. Hopefully this is like one of those turns, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully this is like
just like tooling for injection molding, like let's say we pay $15,000 for a duck call mold, $15,000 for a mold here in the US. In China, it's $2,000.
holy shit.
So, I mean, that's the difference in pricing. It's so, and like you it's gonna like crack, right? You're like, I don't know, maybe we should do that, right? It's like, and then you go across to all your products, you go across to everything, and you cut it by 200%, 500%, and so your margins start to go through the roofs, right?
And it's not like you can sell for that much more if you're trying to compete with other calls. I was in the same thing when I was trying to do like clothing. Cause I could get stuff here, for semi cheap, but dude, I could get a shirt from China for like $2, but then again, who knows if it was going to be right?
Yep.
I can't speak Chinese. Like
Yep.
they're hitting me up at freaking midnight and I'm speaking like, dude,
Yeah,
I was on my phone.
WhatsApp.
Yep. WhatsApp, dude. Speaking of all sorts of, they were trying to FaceTime me and stuff. I'm like, dude, I
Yeah.
never talked to a Chinese person.
Not gonna work.
And so it was just like, dude, the people that pull that off through China, first of all, that's impressive. Not easy.
Yeah, no, I'm glad we're gonna do our best to keep it here. See what happens.
That's cool. I hope that freaking just crushes. That's cool that at least you got some backing, some good people helping you out. That's awesome.
And that's key. And I think any business is having people to lean on because you don't know it all, and rather than trying to do it yourself and learn from your mistakes, it's a lot easier to learn from other people's mistakes. It's a lot more cost effective because mistakes usually cost you money.
Talked about not knowing it all today at work.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think I'm not afraid to call like some of the big guys in town or whatever. And I've been very fortunate to have connections through my brothers, through just knowing people who know people who know people. And so I'm not afraid to pick up the phone and call like an ex-owner or an owner of one of the largest businesses in this valley right here in Idaho Falls and be like, "Hey, what did you do? What do you charge?" And I know my brother, he's like, "Why would people tell you that?" And I'm like, "'Cause people like to talk about themselves and they like to tell you about their successes or what they've got going on. So if you kind of lean into that and you play into that a little bit, you can find out a lot of information, and not necessarily that it's like you're stealing it from them, but you can really go after stuff. A lot of times, like with my concrete business, we're small enough, like we are zero threat to these businesses that I'm talking to. Like these businesses that I'm talking to are like 30, 40, $50 million businesses a year, and we're over here like 2. And so they're like, Tommy's going to, whatever, no big deal. He's going to just go do this job, a one-off type thing or whatever it may be. He's not going out and buying, $100 million worth of equipment next year and coming after us. So they'll definitely
Not yet.
give you a little bit of stuff, and I hope you do, but they'll give you information, and then they're just a wealth of knowledge. And it's like Tanner said, we had a conversation today about like, you don't know everything and you never will know everything. So it's why not go talk to these guys? Because,
it's
like
one of
Bill
those.
said, education is cheap when you go talk to somebody about their mistakes rather than going to make your own.
Yeah. I mean, Hormozy talks a lot about that too, where he's like, somebody's already done it, you know? And then a lot of these people that are at the top, I feel like understand something else where it's like, again, it's not necessarily competition. It's like people at the top, I think, help each other.
Yeah.
You know, like they had to have help at some point too, I'm sure of it. So it's like collaborating rather than competing.
And as we talk about concrete here, because I have zero knowledge, right? But the more I hear some of the struggles, I'm like, it's no different. It's just a different product. But it's people problem. Business comes down to people, and it's the same problem, just a different. It could be a different problem, but it's the same problem. It's people,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, how do you get the best out of people? How do you get the best out of yourself? And
Sounds like you're doing good at that.
yeah, I've got my issues. Trust me, I definitely got some issues.
It is hard. And I wonder too, like as time goes on, a lot of this stuff, like what's going to be taken over by just friggin' robots.
Oh, man.
Do you get like some robot concrete dudes?
If I could, yeah,
Right.
I'd be all about it.
Did you see, actually, Lisa? So Lisa's the marketing. I don't know if you guys talked about that at all, but she's like the marketing manager for Slayer. Or I don't know what her exact role is or title is.
Yeah, I call her our
Badass.
brand manager.
Yeah. So she sent me a video. What's the water? Is it Death Water? Liquid Death?
Liquid Death.
Yeah. So she sent me a video the other day that Liquid Death just did the first 100% AI advertisement. So no actors, period, in the video, and it was like a 30-second commercial for Liquid Death. Pretty damn funny, and it's really good. So it's done off the VOE3 or VEO3. It's a Google deal. And
Think
it's
about that,
the
though.
apes. That's the
Oh,
same type
yeah.
of thing.
Think about that. Like, what if there is no job for actors in 50 years? You know what I mean?
I think it's Gary Vaynerchuk.
Who
One of
can
them talks about that.
Who can explain the movie the best to AI and get the best result?
And Dan Martell talks about that is if you want to be like in the AI world, that you have to be a phenomenal prompt writer to make money in the AI world. Because if you think about it, you talk to ChatGPT, like you could ask it questions, Tyler, and it's like, hell yeah, homie, let's go. But if you ask it like legit questions that are very detailed and very like thought about, it will give you very thought out questions or answers. I mean, and I experienced as I told Lisa, I was like, hey, we should do one of these Yeti commercial things and jump on that bandwagon for Slayer. And so I signed up for a free trial. It's freaking hard.
Is it?
Yeah. I tried to do it with the Dubar duck and it looked like my kids probably could have done better.
Yeah,
It was bad.
because I've seen those and I'm like, those are pretty cool. We like the way they're doing. I love the ones on the dude that acts like a Mexican guy, the Yeti that acts like a Mexican.
I haven't seen that one.
I can't repeat the stuff they were saying just because I can't remember, but it's funny, man.
There's a lot of good ones.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of good ones.
But yeah, that's all about prompts and about how you can tell a computer what to produce.
What I found on ChatGPT too is I'll ask a question and then it'll give me the result. And then I'll ask, how do I ask this question better so I get a better result, and it'll rewrite it and give me a better result.
I've done the same.
Yeah.
Where it's like if I'm trying to figure something out, I'll say, or I'm trying to script something out, or even design my website. I'm like, ask me everything you need to know to help me make this the best, right? Or here's my goal. What do you need to know? Boom, 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 and I'll just answer each question as it goes. And I mean, yeah, it's way better when I
Yeah.
do it like that rather
Starts
than
fine tuning it.
Yep, it is cool. So prompt it to prompt itself. Yeah.
Yep.
And I've been doing that, and even to do the known, right? Where I was like, hey, when I do these things, I know what I want my results to be. Help me break this down and make sure that I'm actually getting this. Ask me some questions. I don't know. It was pretty cool.
It's interesting.